All right, so your first step is going to be to remove these 4 screws. Just a standard Phillips screw. Once you have those removed, they won't come all the way out of the hole. You just have to be very careful whenever you're separating it, because they will fall out. So you can just lay it to the side, and then you have the nut on the top of the valve. You're going to need to remove that to separate the valve body from the actuator. That little nut should be 9/16. Once you have the valve body separated from this, then I'll show you the next step. Now you have the valve separated from the actuator. So this nut right here has to come off to take out the internals. So once you have that nut loose, connected to this shaft, it's all one piece, you'll see that there's a little spring. This goes down inside the piece that you just removed. There's the little spring. This will not come out until you remove these Allen bolts to separate the 2 pieces of the valve to where your valve diaphragm is going to be inside here. So I'll show you that now. It's going to be important that you do this somewhere where you have a clean space, because these little washers right here that sit on top could fall out and you lose them, and you have just your Allen screw that has a lock washer. So it goes that washer, the lock washer that's on this Allen screw when you put it back together. So just remember the orientation of these things when you take them apart. And this is what it's going to look like once you have the 2 valves, the 2 pieces of the valve separate. Here's your diaphragm. So you just lift this gasket up out of the diaphragm, separate it from the valve. This is what your diaphragm piece is going to look like. All your replacement parts right here, all the same stuff. I'm just going to put this valve back together the same way it came apart and reverse everything. So diaphragm goes back on top of this, screw holes and everything lined up. Your cover piece goes back on top of that. Once you have the diaphragm placed back in, lining up all the holes with your holes in the top part of the valve, don't forget your spring. It should already be in the replacement package or whatever that came with the valve. There is some red Loctite around the stem. I would go ahead and put red Loctite back in it, and then just screw it back in, and then you're ready to put the valve back into the box. Once you're ready to put the valve back into the box, you'll have these one regular like crush type washer, a lock washer, and your nut. This washer goes on top of this first, your lock washer second, and then your nut.